Welcome to Blunt and Guts 2022. If you hear motorcycle buzzing by, some guy's having fun on his bike. So I'm sorry. But was this a good show? It was good. It was not bad. There's certain things you're going to like, certain things you're not going to like always. But I will say this. Did it do what it needed to do? Yes. Let's open. Orange Cassidy versus Ethan Page. I was kind of surprised about this match. I didn't know Orange was going to have a match with Ethan. I don't know why he would have a match with Ethan. But we get this match. Now, Orange Cassidy got some new... Well, his own music was okay. It was more laid back. This one felt like something out of the 1980s. Didn't sound so bad. I liked it. I actually like it more than I liked the previous one. Even though the previous one was okay. This one sounds a lot better. I could be wrong. But it just sounded good. And now the best friends have a new ring attire. Tie-dye.
Really?
I don't know what made them wear ring attire. Punji Vice. They decided to wear a ring attire that is tie-dye. Well, they got their asses handed to them by Dan Lambert because he said, you know what, because we're in Detroit, we have to follow the rules. And unless they got a license to be out there like a manager, kick their asses out ref, which the ref promptly did. Now, I gotta say this when it comes to having to deal with two rings at the same time. Seeing that they only worked in one ring was understandable. But I kind of wish they went back and forth with the rings. They only stuck with one, which was understandable in a sense. But for me personally, after this match, which wasn't bad, I didn't mind it. And Orange won, yes. Only problem I generally have is I want to see more from Ethan Page, which they're not really doing much with. But I'm hoping to do something. It wasn't 100% bad. I'm still seeing it objective as possible. Orange is still very over, no matter if you like him or not. He sells the most merch, guys. If you don't like Orange, if you hate his freaking guts, that he's a stupid little shrimp piece of garbage, guess what?
He's making AEW money, so shut the fuck up.
It's not the point if I like him or not. Shut the fuck up. He's making money. There you go. Now, when we get the situation with Christian and what he said last week, hoping that glad that Jungle Boy's dad is dead, supposedly made a little bit of a stir. Now he comes out to address it, saying simply, well, I have to apologize because I was asked to apologize. But you know what? I'm not going to do it because I'm a freaking heel. And I'm going to make it worse by saying I'm glad your dad is dead and I wish your mom and sister was dead. Pretty much that's what he was trying to relay. He makes it very clear that he don't give a damn about Jungle Boy. And that's all that matters. And this is the Christian I like. I'm not saying Christian doesn't have his moments as a face. He does. There's certain times when he's working with the right person, his face persona works. But now it ran its course, and he's a way better heel. He's a freaking prick when he wants to be. And I enjoy this.
What did I say at the pay-per-view?
What did I say at Dynamite before, or Rampage? I can't remember which one. What did I say about Luchasaurus? That he was going to turn heel and that Christian was going to be his manager. What do you get? I believe I got a picture of him in my face. A new Luchasaurus who pretty much is on the side of Christian. Whoops the ass. What is this? Who was the one he was dealing with? Serpentico. Because I remember Serpentor. It's Serpentico. I think that's where we got it from. G.I. Joe. Look at the old versions in the 80s. Serpentor. Serpentico. You tell me. But he annihilates him and then puts a snare trap, a modified version of the snare trap, on Serpentico, which he taps out fast. And then he Googles his ass, not Google his ass outside the ring and destroys him again. This is going to be a very interesting situation with Luchasaurus. Guys, I'm not going to be fond of you. We've been saying it for years. If anyone has been saying it, I've been saying it.
Luchasaurus is freaking money.
Luchasaurus is money. They should have been doing something with him about a year ago. I can understand they couldn't do anything immediately because, especially with the pandemic. Pandemic put a lot of things on hold. But I kind of wish they allowed him to go by himself a little bit. You could have used Jungle Boy as his manager to be by his side, or better yet, Marco Stunt could have been his manager. But now they're using Christian, which actually is a better fit in this respect, that they have to do something with him. They got a lot of faces. Throw him as a heel, see if it works. Having a really good heel manager in a Christian, it'll work. There you go. Now, here we go. Danhausen and FTR versus Caster and the Guns. Now, you get Danhausen coming out. He pretty much has been challenged by the Gun Club and Caster. He pretty much says, I don't care. Roughly speaking, he just didn't care, but he managed to find some people in the back, and he got FTR, who is really, guys, these guys can be great heels or great faces. At this time, having 3 championships, they are white hot. Whether you like them or not is irrelevant. They are selling merch, they are selling seats, and the people cheer their asses off for them. They do good work in the ring. Are they great on the mic? Not 100% great, but this is top tier. This is advanced. This is low to mid tier. Well, let's say mid tier. This is nothing. They're here. They are advanced to near top tier when they talk. They're not the greatest talkers. I will admit that. But as a all-around wrestler, having the 5 tools, and yes, they don't have the greatest bodies, but it does not mean they don't have good bodies that people don't mind. Remember, look, charisma, work in the ring, telling a story in the ring, and mic skills. They generally got all 5 to a certain level. If it's not top, it's advanced, and that's more than enough to bring the asses in the seats, to sell the merch, to sell pretty much any buys for any of the pay-per-views. They've done it. The match was fine. It was okay. But you wonder what they're going to do with the Bucks. Since now they did do a little segment with the Bucks, pretty much the Bucks got nobody by their side. They got no Kenny, he's still out. You pretty much lost a Kyle O'Reilly. You already lost a Bobby Fish. Both of them supposedly are nailed. And now Adam Cole is out. So they're all by themselves, but all they have is those damn titles that hold on the show. They're saying, we got our titles, that's all we need. You wonder when eventually this is going to happen. It's going to be a very interesting situation where you're having 2 guys holding 3 titles trying to go after the 4th one. But here's the thing for me personally. It's not about trying to set up the story that the AEW titles is the last titles they're going to go for. Of course, they can go for the Impact titles as well, because even though Impact is not working with them, and if they do work with them, please make a better deal. They did not do a good deal the last time. It did not bring in more people watching the damn product. They need to restructure the situation on AEW side and Impact side, because Impact didn't do a great job. Neither did AEW. Yes, they threw Kenny at them, but who else did they throw at it? Did they bring back Sting? No. Did they bring Moxley in before he had to go away? No. They could have brought in other people other than the ones that are already established. They could have brought John Moxley there. They could have brought Chris Jericho there. They brought only Matt Hardy, the Party Hardy, with Private Party. They brought in, look, these are the people they sent over. They brought in Christopher Daniels. They brought in Frankie Kazarian. They brought in Christian. They brought in Kenny Omega. Yes, he did do something for a little while, but they didn't bring anyone else. They didn't bring in a Moxley. They didn't bring in a Warlow. They didn't bring in MJF. They did not bring in Chris Jericho. And even more, they did not bring anyone over to Impact. In other words, no one from Impact went over there. We never had no Eddie Edwards that went over there. We didn't have no Moose but once, and that was because of the pay-per-view. That was it. They didn't bring in anyone else except the Good Brothers who wandered between. It meant nothing. So if they're going to work with Impact again, they better do it right. I don't care if it was Impact's fault or AEW's fault. Somebody got to do it the correct way. Now, Jade Cargill versus Lana Gray. She's from New York City. She's a gorgeous woman. And she pretty much got her ass handed to her. With a twist. Because at this moment, due to the fact that... Alright, let me give you like this. Was the match bad? No, it actually wasn't that bad. I think that Gray is not too bad of a wrestler. So she was able to do some good work for a Jade who's still learning. No matter how talented she is, she's still learning. So, once the match was over and Hathaway got on the mic, and the guy does work so well with Jade. He works better than Smart Mark. And Smart Mark did a great job with her. But Hathaway is doing a very, very good job. I think it's due to the fact, yes, they're all black, but that's not the key. I think it's due to the fact that Smart Mark Sterling doesn't have as much experience than Hathaway does on NXT. He did very well with Diamond Mine. He did very well. What few times I looked at Diamond Mine, he just had the great ability to really get things over. And Smart Mark is really good. But I truly believe Hathaway is a bit better. Here's Smart Mark. Here's Hathaway. Just slightly better. Slightly. But they're both good. But pretty much he said, this is for my queen. And she pretty much said, I'm bored. Give me real competition. Both of you. And she's talking about Statlander and the Athena. The fallen goddess does not want this smoke because she is so damn good, they ducking her. Then they run out. They try to attack her, which they did. And then you get the thing that makes me feel like, as I said, this is all about Jade. It is not about Red Velvet. And it's definitely not about Kiera Hogan. This is about now replacing a possible Red Velvet with Alana Gray. Because Hathaway got in her ear. She attacked, I believe it was Statlander. Or was it Athena? I think either Athena or Statlander. No, it was Athena. I think she shoved. And then they were able to get away with it. They were able to get away. So when it comes down to it, even though Kiera didn't like it, and the Jade Cargill, they didn't like it, guess what? Because Red Velvet is out, they need to replace her, a new baddie. So the new baddie might actually be Lana Gray. Laura Gray or Lana Gray. Lana or Laura, I'm mispronouncing her name. Just the new Gray. But pretty much, Red Velvet is out. And they're replacing her. But this still makes you feel, and this is what I said months ago, they better do something with Kiera Hogan. And they better do something with Red Velvet. And it can't just be on Dark or Elevation. It need to be on Dynamite and Rampage, and we've never seen it really mean something. There's always been about Statlander dealing with Jade. There's always been about Anna Jay dealing with Jade. So these two have done nothing. As I was worried, guess what? There's a good possibility that Red Velvet is going to be replaced. There you go. Now, the last thing to talk about, the Blood and Guts match. The Jericho Appreciation Society, the top of the line of sports entertainers. That guy just, let me give it to you like this. Was this a good Blood and Guts match? Or let's really clear the air here. This match, was it better than the last one? No. No, it was not. It was not better than the last match. It just wasn't. But was it a bad match? No. It was a good match. And it spotlighted Claudio. It spotlighted Yuta. It unintentionally spotlighted Santana because I think he might have blown out his knee. Because he got in there. He was doing great. I believe he was about to... Who was it? It wasn't Parker that he tried to chokeslam. It was his partner. I can't remember Squarehead. as Jericho called him. But pretty much when he spiked, well, not spiked him, when he did the rock bottom, as you would say it, he was holding his knee, and he did not even do a damn thing the rest of the match. He was out. He was staying in the corner. He could not work. He tried. He got up a couple of times, but he couldn't walk. He was done. So I wonder if he blew out his knee. Somehow he blew his knee out. But the person that seemed to be the most important in that match was Eddie Kingston. People were chanting for him, begging for him, pleading for Eddie. Once he got in there, and everybody was waiting to see Jericho get his ass, basically getting his shit kicked in, it was good. Once they went on top of that cage, and I will throw the War Games cage up there. That's what it's called, and I couldn't remember the name of it, and I tried, but now I'm remembering it. I was worried because there was very few places they could actually do a stunt. And of course, Sammy Guevara was the one who did the stunt instead of Chris Jericho, who dislocated his elbow completely. People thinking that stunt isn't dangerous. It is. You can hurt yourself. And Chris did. But once you saw Claudio get up there, and you saw Squarehead get up there, and he was bleeding like a stuffed pig. I can't remember the guy's name. It's not Parker, it was the other guy. You know, Parker was being chased inside the ring. Now, that was funny. I did enjoy that. But the one that was bleeding, I think the worst, was Squarehead. I can't remember his name. But the point is, the one who got the tap out win was Claudio, even though Claudio was doing the pretty much the Scorpion Deathlock and the special move that Kingston did to get the win over Chris the first time. He applied it. It was Claudio who got it. Now, you saw a little bit of dissension afterward because he was upset. He wanted Chris to tap. He did not. It was Claudio who got the tap win. But you saw after he got over it, he was respectful. He did show respect to Claudio. Does not mean they're not going to be still hating one another, but at least in this respect, in this match, he showed him respect. And Claudio was trying to help people up. He was actually trying to help Moxley up on top of the cage because he helped Willie Yuta up. He tried to help Moxley, but Moxley didn't want no help. He wanted to do it himself. But he was still sticking his hand out, and there was respect all around. And of course, I believe it was Squarehead and Jericho. They were still up on top of the cage. They could not go anywhere. They just moved themselves aside to let everyone have their moment. They were not prepared to go back down. They were in no condition. They'd gotten their asses beaten up. They probably were slick from blood because there was a lot of blood up there due to the one who was bleeding up there. They didn't want to take a chance of, and I don't blame them. They'll probably get a forklift or one of those lifters, scissor lifters, to get up there, pick the people that are hurt, and bring them down. It was wiser that way. But in the end, it was a good show. Now, do you believe this is going to mean a lot going forward? Maybe. This is going to depend on one thing. Right now, they did announce that, Yushi and Hoshi are going to be challenging the Bucks, I think, this Friday or next week. I don't know. So, New Japan Pro Wrestling is still having an influence. They are going to still do another match with AEW. That's a good thing. But the question that I pose to you, do you believe they'll start combining storylines for certain wrestlers to make it mean something? Not just be a brief week or two, but a couple of months of build. That each one would go over to the other company, do some work there, come back, and show footage from the other company to make it fill in. Because I know that not many people understand this, but as it stands right now, if you want these companies to really be better than WWE, and this is what people don't get, WWE is the largest one and with the most strongest production value. That's just it. I'm not saying that the product is good. I'm just saying they refined their production value to the point now that it's so well built that even though they got crappy show, crappy storylines, crappy booking, same old tired wrestling matches, it is still, the production's really good. So they got to counteract that. Each company has their own strengths and weaknesses and a certain budget. And someone saying, well, Tony Khan can throw as much money as he wants. No. Tony is not that stupid. He's not going to end up like Ted Turner, who threw hundreds of millions of dollars at WCW, and guess what? It still went under. This is what people don't understand, especially with Anthem. They say Anthem have billions of dollars. They're not going to throw millions upon millions of dollars at Impact Wrestling. They're not stupid. They're going to give them a certain budget. They're going to give them certain airtime. They're going to make sure that they can get things done and give them what they need. By their perspective, not Impact. They're not going to be like WCW, where Eric Bischoff had enough money to be able to give these guys ironclad contracts that was so big that it was bankrupting the damn company. So don't think just because someone has billions of dollars, they're going to throw a ton of it at it. So when it comes down to this, if they really want to make a product that is better than WWE, that has more recognition than WWE, that is more interesting not just to the hardcore, semi-hardcore, casual fan, and trying to bring in new people, the best option is to work together, do some storylines together, do some joint pay-per-views together, still do their own separate ones, and try to build that way. Because at this point, we're not growing our fan base. We still got the same old people in the fan base, and maybe we're bringing back old fans. Old fans. We want more fans. We want more new young fans. We want older fans to come back, of course. We want fans that are older but never watched the product, also do it. Kids will watch AEW. Young adults watch AEW. Adults. People that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s that have never watched wrestling or had been watching everything else, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, they start watching wrestling. That's what we need to grow the damn product and make a better product. But it's just me. Peace.